Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
A Time for True show is sponsored by the Office of Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, a periodontal, dental implant and laser specialist in New York City, for over 40 years. Dr. Fialkoff was honored by the International College of Dentists and Pierre Fauchard, and received the Presidential Lifetime Humanitarian Honor from the White House. Call us at 718-229-3838.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for True show. It's a pleasure to be back with you again. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff. And here we are, and we have so much to cover in tonight's show that I want to get right into it, because we have an activity and a human being that exemplifies what it means to care, to nourish, and to create, which is what we're missing in our world. We have technology, we have economic concerns, but look at all the problems that we're having. What we need solutions, human solutions, humanity. And that's what tonight's show is all about. An engineer, if you will. We want to put his pictures up on the screen. I'm going to introduce to our viewers Pastor Robert McDonald, the founder and chief executive officer, and there you see him, of the Necelina McDonald Foundation and the Summertime Love Foundation. There you see the promotion for the Necelina McDonald Foundation. He was born in the UK and migrated to the United States, where he went to Roosevelt High School. Pastor McDonald became a pastor in 2018 under Apostle Omar Morton of the Kingdom Manna Church of New Jersey. Over the past 27 years, his youth programs provided educational workshops, field trips, basketball tournaments throughout the 5 boroughs of New York City, as well as going upstate New York in communities like Albany, Amsterdam, Schenectady, and many, many others. Pastor McDonald has worked with organizations such as my own Drug-Free World, the Americas chapter, Dr. Khadija Carey, Breast Cancer Awareness Foundation, and Dr. Ricky Johnson, Financial Literacy Foundation. And engineer, if you will, let's bid a warm welcome to Pastor Robert McDonald to A Time for Truth show.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you here. You know, we've known each other a long time.
Yes, it's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good. The energy's been great, man.
It always has been.
Yeah, man. That means we got to go to another level now.
That's where we're going. And first, you know what? It's so important people get a little breath, a glimpse at where you come from, what you've done.
Right.
We talked about the UK, but I was wondering now, if you tell us a little of your story when you were a young guy and your transformation and what you went through.
Right. Well, I was a troubled youth from very young because I had an abusive father who drank. My mother, on the other hand, was a very educated, soft-spoken lady who went to the UK from Jamaica, where my father also went from Jamaica. They met got married, and that's where I was born. Came to America at about 9 years old, actually, and that's the beginning of all of the part of the problems from the drinking started. The first time I ever could remember that I was intoxicated was about 7 years old. And so that would follow me into adulthood and create many more problems.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
And so now, how was it that you go from where you were at, and then you start looking at becoming a pastor?
That's a great question, and I think you'll appreciate the story. Years ago, when I became a pastor, I was praying with my brother.
Yes.
My brother was going through some things. I was praying with him, and he reminded me that as a child, my mother put a Bible in my hand, a white Bible with a zipper around it. I would have never remembered that. The point of the matter is my mom sowed the seed many, many years ago.
Look at that.
And then my aunt would tell me that when they used to come over, my mom would always ask me to pray. Mm-hmm. The worst guy in the house, but she would ask me to pray. And ironically, and you know, we just talked about some spiritual things. My mom suffered for 3 years before she died. And my aunt told me that she said, bring Rob, bring me, and put his suit on. She wanted to see me in my suit. And she would pass away after that. And I don't remember none of this. This is my aunt telling me this recently. And so when she was in her casket, it made sense to me that she had a smile on her face. Even after all of the suffering and the you know, what she went through, she had a smile. And at that time, I'm trying to process, you smiling with.
How could you be smiling? Right?
Yeah, yeah. But it now makes sense that it had future implications. And so now I have my oldest daughter's named after her. She's about to be a doctor.
Congratulations.
Yeah, my granddaughter is named after her, and she's an amazing student, National Honor Society student. My mom was was going to be a nun, very educated. My brother's daughter is named after her. And then I have a cousin, I just found out, she named her daughter Angel Necelina because my mom reminded her of an angel.
Amazing.
Isn't that something, man?
Well, she gave a lot of life, so she is an angel.
Man,
she brought a lot of life.
And she was, and because I was running away from home and having all of this struggle, but what happened is I would run to her. So I would go to her job, and she would take me with her, and then she would go, and I remember there was a guy who was an older guy. I remember her cutting his toenails and doing humanitarian stuff that I had no idea that a seed was being sown that would stay with me despite all of the hardships, all of the problems that I gave, and the wrong decisions and turns that I made. That thing was still alive in me. It's almost like when you're planting a seed and then you leave, and then everything in the world happens around that seed, like rain, storms, and all of these things. And then when the sun comes up, that thing turns into a beautiful flower. You know, you need the dirt, you need the rain, all of these things to nurture it. So in other words, that's an indication of how my life was as a seed that was planted that had to grow through adversity.
Beautiful. Well, yeah. You know what? Life has a lot of components.
Exactly.
And it said if you don't really get involved and know what it is, very difficult to know how to deal with it. But you actually were there.
Yeah.
And you know, to me, I think that's what makes you so special, is because you have a reality of the whole picture, not just one side of it.
Right.
You know, and like I've always seen that with you when I would go to the games at, you know, in Brooklyn.
I appreciate that, man.
Oh, it's very true. Now, you know, what I want to ask you, because this story of yours is really something I know will motivate the viewers, is, so here you are now, and you become a pastor.
Right.
Now, were you always in basketball, or where did this basketball youth ministry come from?
Good question. There's a gentleman, his name is Jim Simpson.
Okay.
I met Jim Simpson, who we call Uncle Jimmy, through a lady by the name of Miss Griffin. She took me in off the streets.
Okay.
I had some problems and I wound up living on the streets. Mm-hmm. She took me in, and he was a basketball coach. And he put me on the team, and he took me around the country, and we just had a great time. And it kept me out of trouble as long as I could play basketball. So after that, that's when I got in trouble. But the thing was, what I saw him do with his family stayed with me. And because that was some of the best times of my life, it was easy for me to revert back to that once my mind cleared. Once I came out of the woods of my life, I remembered the simple but effective things that he did by showing me love. And so he became a pastor. And I would visit his church, and he was so proud of me because he knew where I come from. And so what you see me doing is basically mimicking what he did for me. Because the fun that I had, now I'm watching troubled kids, and we've lost a few over the years, that now I'm impacting their lives the way he impacted mine.
Beautiful.
That makes sense?
You know what? It makes so much sense because your mother,
right,
your coach, and so you're carrying all that spiritual energy inside of you.
Yeah, man. It's a seed, ain't it?
It's beautiful.
And each journey, they said, like there's a saying in the Bible, it says, like Dr. Fialkov might sow a seed, Rob might water it, but God gets the increase.
That's right.
You see, and that's why
he reaped the benefits.
He reaps the benefits of it, because if we're made in his image, then we're to glorify that image. How do we do that? By loving one another.
That's right. And you know what's funny? In science, we would say you're a hybrid. You got even more energy in you because you got all these different good beings.
Right,
so
right.
You're hybridized to the highest point, man.
He said that he gives you good things so that your youth is renewed like the eagles.
That's right. That's right. People want to know how to have energy.
Come on, man.
If you want to have energy, here's a guy right here showing you how to have energy. So now, I know you've had a lot of different youth go quite a ways. You're a very humble guy. You never talk too much about it. But for our viewers, I want you to tell us a little bit about the past attendance to your program and some of them, what they've done.
Well, then that means that I got to first start with my son. My son, you may have remembered a gentleman by the name of Tyreek Evans.
Yes.
You remember Tyreek?
That's right.
Well, my son was at Bishop Lachlan. And my son, you probably remember the Monsignor King tournament. You remember that? Yeah. How old that is? Yeah. My son hit the buzzer to win the high school game, the highest high school game in the history of that 59-year-old tournament.
Wow.
3 seconds left on the game, he hit the three. It looked like the ball was floating in the air. We won 103 to 100 in a high school basketball game.
Wow. Against
St. John's Prep. My son would struggle in school because he felt people were overlooking him.
Yes.
In favoritism. And so out of the clear blue, we wound up going to that prep school, but the prep school wasn't accredited.
Wow.
Yes, so now I'm fighting with the clearinghouse, and a friend of his named Shamir Williams, who played with him at Bishop Lachlan, said, "Yo, I got a chance to go down to Blinn College." Right. You heard of Blinn College?
No, that one I didn't hear about.
I know you have heard of Cam Newton.
Okay.
Cam Newton went to Blinn College.
Wow.
Birdman went to Blinn College. My son is the all-time leading scorer at Blinn College.
Wow.
So what happened was, now his friend said, "Yo, they got some spots down here at Blinn in Texas," which is in Brenham, Texas. So my son wound up calling Coach Trey Arnold, and they wound up putting him on the team. He becomes the leading scorer in the team. He breaks about 5 schools. He scored 1,401 points in 2 years, and he shot 52% from three. He got the single season most points and the second and 3 points. And everything. So anyway, he goes from no school to being recruited by all the Big 12 schools. Tennessee comes down to see one kid, and the coach comes to visit me. He scores 49 points in a game with 8 minutes left in the game.
Wow.
And then the pros start coming.
Wow.
So he goes on to eventually sign. He visits Gonzaga. His first visit is Gonzaga, and then Western Kentucky. And I went on that trip to Western, and that college is second to none. I loved it. Beautiful atmosphere, college-wise. And so he would go to there, and it didn't go well for him there until his last year. Funny thing, we talk about spirituality. He wasn't doing all of the things he needed to do either, because he was upset that things weren't going his way.
Right.
About 10 games left in the season, Before that, my wife and I started fasting and praying. True story. We start fasting and praying. And then so 6 people wind up on the court and they lose the game after they lost about 10 or so, 7, 8 or 10 or something. So the coach comes by, McDonald. I said, Coach, I said, man, I know a tough loss, but we're praying for you. You know what he said? And it's working. The next day they walked him off of the campus. He was fired.
Wow.
After that, there's 7 games left. My son gets implemented into the starting lineup. He winds up leading the team in scoring from the last 7 games of the season. They wind up going to Arkansas for the playoffs. They wind up being the 8th or 9th seed. So they have to play the number 2 and the 3 and eventual number 1 seed.
Right.
They beat all of them.
Wow.
So now they're in the championship.
Wow.
We're down to North Texas. We're in the championship. And so now we're down by like 1 or 2 points with about a minute and 1 second left. My son comes down. This guy passes the ball. This guy loses. My son grabs it and he hits a 3. He hits a 3. So now the clock is down to about 30 seconds. They come down the other end. We're up 1 or something like that. And then the guy shoots a shot. My son rebounds the ball and gets fouled. So he's going to the foul line. He knocks down the foul shots. Right, so now we're up. It's about maybe 8, 10 seconds left.
Unbelievable.
He gets fouled again. He knocks down the foul shots. My son hit the last 7 shots of the game to give us the championship. He makes the all-tournament team. I got the net in my house.
Unbelievable. Congratulations.
True story.
Beautiful story.
True story. Then he goes on, I'll talk to you. But anyway, he plays overseas in Iceland and then in Australia, and he meets his wife there, who's on the volleyball team. She's given me 2 beautiful granddaughters. They're married, been since 2012. I can't make it up.
Beautiful. What a
Can't
story.
make it up. And
That's
I can,
one too. That's your son.
yeah, so his picture's on the banner as well. But so then I can go on and on with all the other guys who I've involvement with. But we don't have enough time for that.
Okay.
Yeah, we really don't.
But just in numbers, you had how many that went to the professional?
I would say about 10.
10.
Royal Ivy being one of them who came through.
Very nice.
Royal, Quincy Doobie, Gary Forbes, Peter Ramos, Chris Taft. Did I mention Chris? Sebastian Telfair, J.T. Thomas, Lionel Chalmers, and then a host of other guys that went. Did I miss a pro? I think I might have missed a pro or 2. But Gary Ford, did I miss? Yeah, and then a host of guys.
What a great feeling you must have.
Oh man, it's awesome. And to see their pictures with their Kentucky uniforms on,
Sure.
all of the top 10 schools in the country, these kids that come from just these neighborhoods that, they wouldn't get recognized other than that.
Well, it makes total sense. Now, you've got these trophies down here on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to ask you, because they're really nice.
Yeah.
And if you bring one of them up and tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, but I think to do the service to them, I got to bring both of them up.
Yeah, here, let's turn them around so the viewers can see
Okay,
these.
okay. Very important to understand. This
Go ahead,
is
tell us about these.
these trophies. This is the original one.
Okay.
This is the first African American trophy in the country of the United States.
Interesting.
And so it's
Explain
called,
that a little bit to me, 'cause so the viewers will understand.
Yeah, so what it is this gentleman by the name of Eric Hicks.
Okay.
He and I have been working together about 30 years. He has actually been one of the reasons why it's helped me to get where I'm at. His company's name is Game Over. So, but when people hear about Game Over, they're thinking about, well, like my son hit the shots and won the game.
Over, right,
Nah, this is about game over in basketball, now life. So now we have educational components connected to this when we're dealing with the kids, because every kid is not going to make it to the NBA. No. Every kid's not going to go to college. Right. Game over. So now life. So we're going to help you now. We're going to have fun, but we're going to help you through life. That's the idea pretty much in a nutshell.
Transition.
The concept of this. But this is an African-American man on the trophy because we dominate the game.
Absolutely.
We should be on the trophy.
Absolutely.
We should have our own trophy.
Look at that.
But this one, now this one.
Okay, go ahead. What's
this one you're gonna love because see, he's just recently upgraded it, and we have a TV screen on the trophy.
Okay.
For example, when we do what we need to do, and we have these upstate, for example, you sponsor us, right?
Yes.
Drug-free world will show up on the screen.
On the LED here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It'll show up on the screen. When a kid,
This guy's good marketing promoter. Right?
man, this is it, man. This is it. We're bringing this up there with us.
Very nice.
We're going. This is gonna be stratospheric. And so now what happens is if I'm videoing your game, now I can watch it on my own trophy.
Look at that. Oh, so the trophy is.
Oh yeah,
like a
the
cell
trophy is
phone.
going to be like a TV.
Like a TV.
You can plug this
Remote.
thing in right here, and you'll be able to see your
You
game.
watch it through the trophy.
You'll be able to watch your highlights.
And you know what's this? I was going to say something too, very interesting. Is I looked, I don't know if this was deliberate or not, but as I looked at this, now I'll bring it closer to the camera so the viewers could see it. And what's interesting, it looks like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, well, right, it does.
It looks like
does.
you know,
It
it
does.
looks like Michael Jordan.
It does.
You know, it's this build.
It does. Well, if you think about it, we talked a little bit earlier about the symbolisms and the messaging that you can get through the symbols, right?
That's right. That's right.
Michael Jordan was the greatest, and he looks like you. Muhammad Ali was the greatest, and he told you that, and he looks like you. So without saying anything, that says everything.
That's right.
Because that's who you look like. And so whatever everybody else is saying with all of the noise, it's not all the way true. Let's give ourselves a chance, and let's create something that can help us create a chance without being controversial.
Beautiful. Well,
You
you know,
see?
I love that because sometimes symbols are so important
Right.
for people that have like a goal, a physical goal with
Absolutely.
what they have in mind, you know?
Absolutely.
Makes a lot of sense. I was
Yeah.
going to ask you a question is, because I know you're really big into this, and I think that you'd have a lot for the viewers to hear on this, is what are you taking on, what do you see right now in the U.S. with the drug problem, with the crime problem, with its homelessness? What do you think about this? And what I know you're, I know
What do
you're
I
gonna,
think
you
about
got
it?
a lot that you're doing about it, but
Yeah.
I wanted to get your input on this for the viewers.
Okay, can I show you something else?
Absolutely, go ahead. Looks like you have a uniform here.
Yeah, this right here, you see that? What do you see here?
Let's put it up here for the viewers.
What do you, I ask the viewers if they're checking in, what do you see here? I want you to take a look at the front of it. What do you see here?
See a family?
You see a family. That's the whole idea right there. You see a family. What does it say on the back?
Love thy neighbor.
That's all you need to
A
know.
precept.
That's all you need to know. You don't have to be religious. Everything that you see here being put together is by design and by purpose. It's intentional. You understand? And that's why people are coming from all over the states and the different countries. We got Canada, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, Florida, you saw in that video. These people are coming to a park because I've asked them to. Why? Because I've asked them to in love. Love makes all the difference in the world. And if you see on my business card, it says,
What does it say?
it says on the bottom, all we need is love.
That's right.
That's it. I don't have an educated, complicated answer for you.
Don't need one.
I have a very simple
We
one.
don't need one.
You understand? We're out here doing something.
That's right.
And we're getting better at doing it over time because we persevere. There's something to be said about consistency and stick-to-itiveness. We have that.
No, absolutely.
We have that.
You know what? We have so much technology, and sometimes it gets very complicated. But look at the results of it. We have violence, we have crime, our
Right.
families breaking up.
Right.
So I think your message
Yeah.
is an important
Look at that,
message.
man. You got a father and a mother.
Let's put this up again here.
Yeah.
Why don't you hold that side? So, and now this is going to be August
16th, 17th, and 18th.
Schenectady, right?
Schenectady, New York.
Schenectady.
Central Park.
You're all invited. You know, all the people upstate are really excited. Tell the viewers a little bit about what they've been saying.
Oh man, I mean, you know, I spoke to the deputy superintendent
Yes.
of the school,
Yes.
and the guy tells me, and I didn't know at the time that he had been to the first tournament when we had it in Albany. He said, "Man, we're just so thankful that you're allowing us to be a part of this.
Right.
This is this is a big time guy. So when I'm getting ready to speak to him, I'm a little bit reserved because I don't know this guy, and he's telling me, man, what a great job we're doing, and this, that, the other. And another guy, construction company, he asked me on a group text. He said, man, this is the greatest event in our area. I didn't say that.
Beautiful.
I just do the work. But I know love has that type of impact. And you don't have to be religious to do it. You should do it because that's what love is all about. I preach on Sundays, but I live life from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What am I doing as it relates to what I've preached?
Let me ask you a question as we're doing this show, because this is a friend of mine who has a team. What ages are these teams are going to be playing?
Oh, we got 9 and under, 11 and under, 13 and under, 15 and under, 17 and under. We just added, because of my grandson, a college and an alumni division where you can't be more than 23 to be in it.
So do you have a 17 to 19? Or?
Yeah, 17. 17 and under.
And what happens if you have 17 to 19?
What you mean?
What would that be?
No, it has to be 17 and under.
Or you play in the other one?
Yeah, no, or you play in the other one. If you're 18,
under.
yeah, you're 18, you got to play in that.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of a team who's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And maybe we could get them to go up there and participate.
They would love it, man. I'm telling you, they won't forget it, and they'll all get one of those uniforms.
Oh, they will.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, everybody. If you look in the video, you saw the video.
So now, if there's some coaches out there, some sponsors,
Absolutely.
how do they apply to your tournament?
Well, you could contact me about my phone number.
Okay, what's the phone number?
917-533-7465. Any time of day and night. That's how we get down. And then we have the website is I think I gave you the website,
right.
www.summertimelovefoundation.com.
And you have a contact there, right? So you have those two ways of contacting. If you want to be in Schenectady, August 16th to the 18th.
Yeah.
There's what you can do. Now, you kind of mentioned it already, but what are your goals for these groups that you have now that are starting to sprout?
Well, the goal is always, man, the nurturing part of it, and also by example, teaching the kids by example that they have a responsibility to give back, paying it forward. And not everybody does it, but there may be 1 or 2 or 3 guys that do it and could probably have a greater impact than me. And that's the whole more of it all, you know what I mean? Helping
to start a movement.
Yeah, and then you know, and also too, you gotta show them what a family, a working family looks like. Mm-hmm. You understand? I mean, like I tell my son, like for example, he's very tough guy, confident, whatever.
Yes.
I tell him, and he hates when I say it. I said, be humble.
Right.
And the reason why I tell him to be humble, because see, if I can teach you it without you having to experience it, you're gonna do better. Because I don't know how that's gonna happen for you, but life will humble you. So take it from Dad. And a lot of our kids out there are doing stuff because they don't have that disciplinarian thing from the leadership part of a man in their lives. There's a saying, if you change a man, you do what? You change the world. And so we, as men that have this mantle, have this responsibility, whose much has been given to us, you can't deny that.
That's right.
We have a responsibility to use the love method of reaching people. It's not, as the years are going by, it's getting easier. It's getting easier to do as it relates to how I deal with people, because it's genuine.
Right.
You know what I mean? And as you get closer to the Lord, you see that He's working some things. As we both went through some stuff today, we were able to talk about some stuff that was outside of the norms of the natural correspondence of things.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I see those things.
It's true. You know what's interesting, I was going to say to you, and as we're having this show, I can see why you and I met.
Right.
I can see how we were on the same page.
Right.
So many years ago, and where we're getting to, and like I said at the beginning of the show, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show, but I wanted to ask you, we have no time, but let me take this out of your way here so they can see you.
Yeah.
So what final statement would you like to give the viewers out there?
What final statement? Well, I mean, it's not deep. It's love is the message. plain and simple. And you start that in your home and then you spread it abroad. And I think as you start doing acts of kindness, even randomly, right? You start doing those things, you're gonna build up some things inside of you that's gonna make you change from the inside out. Gratitude does a lot to your perspective. And even though you may not change overnight, you'll start to.
Well, Pastor McDonald, I've had a great time. I know our viewers have too. For those of you watching, August 16th to the 18th, Schenectady, be there. Let's bring love to the world. Let's help Pastor McDonald sprout this tree all across the country. Thank you for being on the show.
It's my pleasure and my honor.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
This show was sponsored by A Time for Truth Foundation Incorporated as a community service.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet